Okay, now let's study about the history of HTML5. Okay, we have done with the drawbacks of HTML4, and we even saw the what's the difference between 4 and 5. And now let's study the history of HTML5. So these are the points, detailed points which I'm going to cover on the history of HTML5. Okay, let's start. What working group is born? Founded in 2004, the WG with members from Apple, the Mozilla Foundation and Opera Software sets out to develop HTML5. Okay, they started to work with what? This is the group company name. Okay, what working group? Okay, the HTML5 was started to working with this. Okay, then the second thing is, and one more thing, it was done on 2004. Okay, World Wide Web Consortium W3C, okay, announces it will work with what working group on October 2006. It started to develop with HTML5, and then this was announced in October 2006. And then the third point is, first version of HTML5 is published on 2008. The first draft of HTML5 written by Lan Ixon is introduced by changes are still coming. Experts say that HTML5 is a continually evolving technology that will never be absolutely finished. As I told you earlier, I mentioned that HTML5 will overcome the drawbacks of HTML4. But in each and every version, not only it will overcome the drawbacks, but even it will add some features, right? So they are announcing it as that HTML5 is a never-ending such a thing that it will always keep on enhancing. It will not say HTML5 is done. Okay, so that's the point it means. And then the fourth one, Firefox becomes HTML5 compatible on 2008. Firefox 3 takes steps to allow HTML5 to be viewed on the browser. Chrome, Safari, and eventually IE will follow suit. Okay, it was the Firefox 3 which becomes first HTML5 compatible. Okay, that allows the HTML5 to be allowed. Okay, and the next one is YouTube offers HTML5 video player and Jan 2010. New player can only be activated through TestTube. A better video player will arrive in July 2010. This was announced. Okay, and then Steve Jobs thrashes Flash in an open letter April 2010. What was this? That Steve Jobs just removed the Flash from all its associated apps, so that, and he made use of the HTML5. As I told you, HTML5 came up with the idea of Flash, right? Because it was a drawback on HTML4. So he threw it out and he just made use of the HTML5. Because of him, which the other companies who saw these changes in Steve Jobs' company, even they followed this and they even thrashed it. Okay. Then the script document switched to HTML5 May 2010. The online document sharing site script switches to HTML5. This creates a better UI for users who are reading documents on tablets. Okay. Then the next one is Arcade Fire HTML5 based interactive film is a hit on August 2010. The basic meaning of this sentence is that they created an interactive film with the help of an HTML5. Because HTML5 overcome the drawback of HTML4 of JavaScript and every 2D and 3D, right? So it made a film with the help of HTML5 and it became a hit. Okay. The next one is the Chrome Web Store opens December 2010. Chrome opens its web store in HTML5, making non-Apple web apps easy to buy on tablets. It is the basic thing is that the apps which were not being able to buy by the Apple or sell by the Apple, they created a web store in the Chrome and they made these apps to be sold easily through this. Okay, and then by seeing these all changes, many companies even changed to HTML5 for their enhancement from HTML4 to HTML5 and made use of this HTML5 in their company. So the companies are Disney and Pandora, and then came the Amazon, and then the Twitter, and then Boston Globe, and then Flick, then LinkedIn, and then Wix. These all companies slow by slow, and eventually they changed to HTML5 by seeing its enhancement and seeing its outcoming of work. So even they changed because of the history. They saw what was the revolution of HTML5 and how better it was from HTML4. So this is the history of HTML5. HTML5 was really very compatible for many things, and it really came up with many new features, and it overcome the drawbacks of HTML4 also. Okay, now we are going to learn about the features of the HTML5 as well as the API. Okay, so let me first list down the features of the HTML5. HTML media, second one is the HTML graphics, and third one is the HTML API. Okay, so media can be further divided into more 5 parts. Okay, the first one is the HTML media again. Media means the multimedia. I'm so sorry. And the second one is the HTML video. Third one is the HTML audio. Fourth one is the HTML plugins. And the fifth one is the HTML UD. Okay. And when it comes to HTML graphics, even that can be divided into further 2 parts. That is HTML canvas and then the HTML SVG. And the third one is the HTML API. It can be further divided into 5 more parts. That is HTML geolocation, then the HTML drag or drop, then the HTML web store or storage. Sorry. Okay. Then HTML web workers. Then comes the HTML SEO. Okay. So I'll explain you one after the other. Okay. Okay. Now let's start with the media. Media stands for multimedia. Okay. Okay. Multimedia comes in many different formats. It can be almost anything you can hear or see. Example like images or music or songs or sounds, video, everything which you can hear and see comes under multimedia. Web page often contains multimedia elements of different types and formats. Okay, this is all about the multimedia. Now let's see what is video. Okay, as you know, video is something which you see. Okay, video is something which you see in a pictorial format. So as I have told you earlier also, in HTML4 video, audio, such functionalities or multimedia functionality was not present, right? This HTML5 has overcome those drawbacks. So when we see on HTML5, this video is helpful to present and video in your website. So for this we just need to make use of 2 tags. One is the video tag and one is the source. Okay, we just need to make use of these 2 tags to display our video in the web page. Now let's go for an audio. In the similar way, audio is something which you listen, right? You would have often seen in many websites or web pages, there are audios, videos, and every multimedia is present there, right? So this audio will give you some interaction or some informatical thing or some information will be given through this audio. Even for this, we will need 2 tags. One is the audio tag and next one is the source tag. Okay, and the fourth one is the plugins. When we talk about plugins are helpers. Okay, we can shortly tell them as helpers. Okay, helper application, that is plugins, are computer program that extend the standard functionality of a web browser. Example of well-known plugins are Java applets. Okay, you would have heard this Java applets. Plugins can be added to web pages with the help of 2 tags. One is the object tag and the next one is the embed tag. Okay, we just need to make use of these 2 tags and we can embed our plugins and make these things everything fine. I have already given you the examples like Flash, Adobe and etc. Right? So when we use object and when we use embed, embed is used to insert the plugins like Java applets, PDF readers and Flash players in web pages. Okay. And when it comes to embed element is supported in all major browsers. The embed element also defines an embedded object within an HTML document. Okay, now let's go for HTML UD. So what is YouTube? YouTube, nothing so far. We just need to make use of one tag in this and we can embed our YouTube videos. Okay. The tag is iframe. Okay, so what you're supposed to do is just upload your video in the YouTube and there will be an option for you to embed it, right? So when you click on it, you will get a complete URL with along with an embedded or ID of your video. So you just need to copy that and you just need to paste it in your iframe under an attribute SRC. Okay, that's all with HTML YouTube. Okay, this is all about the HTML media. Now let's go for HTML graphics. HTML graphics is further divided into two parts. One is the canvas and one is the SVG. Now let's talk about canvas. The HTML canvas element is used to draw graphics via a JavaScript. It's just a container, but to do a graphics you need to make use of a JavaScript. Okay. Canvas has several methods for drawing parts, boxes, circles, text and adding images also. But these all things will be taught to you in depth in upcoming sections. Okay. And the second part one is the SVG. Now what is SVG? SVG, I'll first tell what it stands for. Okay. Scalable Vector Graphics. Okay. SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics. Both are related. Canvas as well as SVG both are related to a graphics itself. Okay. For I just missed one thing. In Canvas, we'll make use of just one tag, that is the Canvas tag, and when it comes to SVG, we'll make use of the SVG tag. Okay. These all things will be even taught to you in the upcoming videos or in upcoming sections very soon. Okay, so just keep in mind that these both are used for graphics. It's just a container for graphics, but for doing these graphics you need to make use of the JavaScript. Okay, even in SVG we can draw the circles, the rect, the polygons, each and everything can be drawn with the help of this also. Okay. Okay, now let's go to the next one, that is the HTML API. As I told you, HTML API is further divided into 5 things. So let's go one by one. First, let's go for geolocation. Geolocation. The HTML geolocation API is used to locate a user's position, or also can be said as geographical position of a user. Okay. Location of a user. Okay. Since this can compromise privacy, the position is not available until the user approves it. Okay. So now for doing this, we'll make use of one method to get the current position of the user. We'll make use of a method. Sorry, that is the get current position method. Okay, so with the help of this method, that is the get current position, we'll get the position or the geolocation of the user. I want to repeat it again, that until and unless the user permits it, it will not be work. Okay, so now the next one is drag and drop. It's not or, it's and. Drag and drop. Okay, now what's this drag and drop? Drag and drop is very common feature. It is when you grab an object and drag it to different location. Okay, what is it in HTML5? Drag and drop is part of the standard. Any element can be draggable. We just, for example, there's a box or a rectangle. You want to drag some text inside it. So drag, we are dragging it from one position and dropping it inside the box. That's the actual fund of drag and drop. Okay. And the next one is web storage. Okay, by the word storage, you will at least know the basic meaning, that storing the data or storing something, right? With web storage, web application can store data locally within the user's browser. Okay, before HTML5, application data had to be stored in cookies. We used to see this cookies, okay, included in every server request. This cookie was very widely used before for storing this data. So, okay, web storage is more secure and large amount of data can be stored locally without affecting website performance. For this, I will even like to give you an example of saving the passwords. When you log in or do something, it always asks for you, would you like to save the password, right? So when we save it, it is stored locally within the computer itself, within the browser itself. Okay, it's not saved worldwide. Okay, and unlike cookie, the storage limit is far larger, at least 5 MB, and information is never transferred to the server. Okay, Web storage is for origin, for domain and protocol. All pages from one origin can store and access the same data. Okay, this is basically the small storage, or not to be said as a small, but it's a storage within the local browser itself. For this, we'll make use of two objects. Okay, the first one is the window dot local and the storage. Okay, this is the first one, and the second one is window dot session storage. Okay, now what's the difference between this? When it's window.local storage, stores data with no expiration date. Means it will not never say that the data stored in this will be lost for 1 day or 2 days. I already told you an example of password, right? If you save that once, until and unless you remove it, it will not go, right? So it's saved. It will not have any expiration date, okay, or any end date. But when it comes to window.section storage, it will have an end time, or okay, so stores data for one section, means the data is lost when the browser tab is closed. Okay, so in local storage there is no end time, but in this it will get lost, when the data will get lost when you close the tab. Okay, now let's go for the next one, that is the web workers. Now what's the web workers? When executing script in an HTML page, the page becomes unresponsive until the script is finished. Okay, a web worker is a JavaScript that runs in the background independently of other scripts without affecting the performance of the page. You can continue to do whatever you want, or clicking, selecting things, etc., while the web workers run in the background. So it will not affect any working function of the present one. It will just keep on running in the background. Okay. So, see the next one, that is HTML SSE. What is SSE? SSE stands for Server Sent Event Notification. Okay. Okay. Now, what is server sent notification? First of all, server sent notification is a one-way messaging. Okay. Server sent event is when a web page automatically gets update from a server. It gets automatic update from a server. This was always possible before, but the web page should have to ask if any updates were available. With server sent event, the update come automatically. Before, what was the, as I told you the sentence before this, it was that it was supposed to ask for updates whether it's available or not, but now it is automatically sending the events. For example, let's take the events like Facebook or Twitter updates, stock price updates, news feeds, sports results, etc. These all are some of the examples for server sent event notification. Because, and you should even notice, only the notification comes, you don't reply or don't do anything, right? So that's the reason it's one-way messaging. So for making this event work, we make use of one object, that is event source. With the help of this object event source, we can do that one-way messaging or server sent event notification. Okay, so you would have seen many live examples for this server. All the updates which are coming from the server is sent server sent event notification. Okay, now let's talk about why HTML5. So there are few points related to it, so I will let it down one by one and we will explain it. Okay, so first one is cross browser compatibility. Okay, what is cross browser compatibility? Let's see that. HTML5 is easy to implement and it works with CSS3. Okay, today all browsers support HTML5 tags, and even IE6, that is the Internet Explorer version 6, understands the markup, that is the tag which we use, that is the doc type HTML, to tell the browser that this is an HTML file, and will render the page correctly. So the first main thing is the cross browser compatibility by just giving a tag doc type HTML. Okay, so this is the first point. Now let's go to the second one, new doc type declaration. Okay, now as I told you, now this doc type tag is because of which the compatibility came in place, right? So I even told you in previous video that in HTML4 when you used to write this doc type HTML, it was a big one. I even showed you when I told you about the HTML4 versus the HTML5. So in HTML5 it has overcome, right? So I even showed you that. So in just in two words with an exclamation and a doc type HTML, we will tell the browser that this is an HTML file and this made the browser compatibility. Now let's see the third point. Okay, bring improvements in usability. Okay, and user experience. Okay, now what's this? Okay, usability and user experience relate with how well a website or app is designed. We all want better dynamic websites, right? A dynamic website like with more and more interaction, more and more colorfulness, or colorful in the sense which will grab our attention very easily. So to make that, we have this HTML5. HTML5 has several technical enhancements and improved features for web, and with HTML5 code, web developer can easily design better applications and dynamic websites, which result in a better user experience and usability. Okay, this was the third point. Okay, now let's go to the next point. That's the alternative to Flash and Silverlight. Okay. Okay, now what's the alternative? What does this sentence mean? In the HTML4, we were always supposed to give an install something for Adobe Flash of the latest version or a Silverlight plugin, right? And also need to keep in mind the device and the operating system compatibility. But now in HTML5, this is not the case. Okay, it has changed. That's the reason HTML5 is becoming more popular these days with companies, as it offers a massive set of attributes and functions that help web developers to build beautiful websites and apps with minimum work. So the drawback in HTML4 of this Flash and Silverlight has been overcome in HTML5. Okay, now let's go to the next one. That's the heavily used for mobile. Oh, so sorry. Mobile apps and games. Okay, now what is this? The adaptability of HTML5 in mobile applications and game development increases as HTML5 web application tool gives more flexibility to the web developer in all cases, starting from the user interface through to the development and the last or the end to using scripts and others also. HTML5 is also capable of handling multimedia content without the necessity of installing plugins, and we can easily develop interactive games with the technology. We have even seen the multimedia functionalities, what are inside the multimedia, right? So multimedia like media, video, audio, plugins, YouTube. With the help of these everything, it has been more easier for a developer to develop more interactive and a very dynamic website. Okay. Now let's go to the next point, that is clean markup and improved coding. Okay, now what is this? HTML5 has come along with clean markup and clean code that makes it more accessible than previous version. HTML5 allows the web developer and web designer to use neat code and remove div tag and replace all the div tags with the new HTML5 elements. Okay, it has been very neat coding nowadays because with the help of the HTML5, and new elements has also been come, so the older ones have been replaced with the new ones. So now let's go to the next one, that is offline browsing. Okay, now what's the offline browsing? HTML5 also offers offline browsing, which means that the visitor can load certain elements on a web page without an active internet connection. Assume if you are using the internet and you just browse to some or the other website, and suddenly your your internet goes off or it's becoming low. So in that case, this offline browsing will help you. This HTML5's additional feature of offline browsing will help you, and you will be able to see the browsers, some content or some physical elements even after your internet is off. Okay, HTML5 offline caching is the main method in this. We can still load the core elements of the website and you can view them offline also. So now let's go to the next one, that is HTML5 is SEO friendly. Okay, what is this? Oh, it's SEO. Okay, HTML5 is SEO. Okay, now let's go to the next one, that is the HTML5 is SEO friendly. Oh, I'm so sorry. SEO. Okay, what is this? HTML5 is SEO friendly when it comes to website crawling and indexing. Okay, now what's this? Nowadays, to gain and retain top ranking in different search engines, SEO stands for search engine optimization. Okay, Google, the website must be optimized with care and also necessary SEO modules. HTML5 comes with various attributes and modules that makes it easy for web crawlers to search your content and getting it indexed properly. I have taught you about this, the meta tag, right? In the meta tag, we made use of the two attributes, that is the name and the content. I told you, when you put a keyword, a name as a keyword, okay, the name attribute, you give the content as keyword, then you're supposed to give some keywords like HTML, CSS or JS, right? So where that, and I even mentioned that these are used for SEO, that is a search engine optimization. So this functionality or this tag is present in HTML5 and this was not present in HTML4. That was also a drawback, right? So now it has been very useful for the SEO modules, so that the SEO, your website can rank first or in the topmost when the people search for your website. Okay, this was the additional one. So HTML5 technology provides various features with wide range of structural elements, semantic forms, types, new attributes and media elements, making it easier for digital marketing experts and developers to focus on better search engine optimization technique and to drive more organic search traffic. Okay, this is what it means SEO friendly. So now next is the video and audio support. Now what is this video and audio support? With HTML5 technology, we no longer need to rely upon third-party plugins in order to render audio and videos. This was already mentioned in the prior video. In the HTML4 or in the prior versions, we always need a third-party plugin interaction to put our audios and videos in the website, right? So you can forget about Flash Player and other third-party media players and plugins. You can make your video and audio easily accessible with the new HTML5 tag, that is the video tag and the audio tags. Where earlier you would have to use the old embed and object tags and assign a huge list of parameters just to display the video visible and making correctly. But with HTML5's video and audio tags, we can treat them as images, that is video with src attribute, and in the inverted commas you can give the URL. We have to just define parameters like height, width and autoplay in the the single line tag, just like any other HTML element. Video tag along with src, width, height and autoplay, that's all, and your video will be, or the audio will be in the web page. Okay, now let's go to the next point, that is the geolocation. Okay, now what is geolocation? With the help of a geolocation, we can easily find out where we are in the world and easily share that information with people. Now we are all fond of using the Google Maps, right? When you open your GPS or start your GPS, it automatically shows your current or their present location, and when you search for some other location, it will even show you the path with your time, your distance and all. So in the earlier times, we always had were used to see the latitude, longitude, where are you, and near which tower are you, and like that, and these all information gather and make a geolocation, right? Geographic position. But now with the help of this geolocation support, within just few seconds, we are able to see where or know where we are currently, in which part of the world, and where is the actual position also, right? So HTML5 improves and enhances the browsing experience. So why don't we use the HTML5? So these are the HTML5's main factors. Why are we using it? Okay. So these all become one, and this is the answer for why HTML5. So with the help of these, we will know what is the importance of HTML5. And to be very frank, HTML5 is even yet in the market. Many companies are adapting HTML5 as it provides many of the functionalities. Okay, now let's answer the question, what is HTML5? HTML5 is the 5th version of hypertext markup language, okay? The code that describes web page. It is actually 3 kinds of code. The first one is HTML, which provides the structure, okay? HTML, which provides the structure. The second one is cascading style sheet, that is the CSS, okay? So CSS, which takes care of the presentation, and the third one is the JavaScript, which makes things happen. So what? HTML is actually the structure, cascading style sheet, that is the CSS, that is how the text, how the image, how the website should be actually presenting itself. And then the JavaScript, which makes things happen, like on the click, what should happen, what should be the loading part, what should be displayed first, timing and everything, what makes things happen, okay? This is the first answer for what is HTML5. Now the next which thing comes in our mind is what's so great about HTML5, right? HTML5 has been designed to deliver almost everything you would want to do online without requiring additional software such as browser plugins, right? So the first and the main important HTML5's benefit was that only. We came up with something new, and because of which the third party involvement, the third party plugins installation was reduced, and even our work was reduced, right? It does everything from animation to apps, music to movies, and can also be used to build incredibly complicated applications that run in your browser. I hope you all remember the issue which I told you all, right? And even in that, I told you that the Jobs just trashed the all the flashes in his app, and he brought up with the HTML5, right? So in such a way, it's really useful in everything. And I even told you about some film that was made with the help of an HTML5. So it has started from animation to apps, music to movies, and can also be done to build incredibly complicated applications that run in your browser. So there's more and more. HTML isn't proprietary, so you don't need to pay royalties to use it. It's also a cross-platform. Yes, do you accept it? It's with the help of a doc type HTML tag. It's made as a cross-platform, which means it does not care whether you are using a tablet or a smartphone, a netbook, a notebook, or ultrabook, or a smart TV, or anything. If your browser supports HTML5, it should work flawlessly. Inevitably, it's a bit more complicated than that. More about them is in a moment, okay? So actually, the main thing about HTML5, it has overcome all the HTML4 drawbacks and even come up with more additional one. Now, we will come a long way since HTML could barely handle a simple page layout, right? When we talk about HTML, it was really very difficult to even make a simple HTML, simple page layout. But when we are talking about HTML5, it can be used to write web application that still work when you are not connected to the net. To tell website where you are physically located, to handle high definition video and to deliver extraordinary graphics, right? So it has been enhancing, and that's the reason, and that's the answer. What is HTML5? And not only this, but now we are even come up with the local storage also in HTML5, right? So local storage, which is really a very good thing in HTML5. When we come up with the local storage, it is really very good to store our data locally and can use it whenever we need it. So even in that we can store data in two forms. One is the temporary, or means with the expiry date, that only for short period, and one without that. Okay, I even gave you an example for that. Without an expiry is saving a password, and with an expiry is like you just close the tab and the data gets lost. Okay, that's all. So, and then is when we come to a question, will this HTML5 be finished? No, actually it's not. It's evolving standard. It will just keep on evolving. It's bit by bit, it's leading to more and more. So it's not an stopping one. It's just going to HTML5. It's just leading to upper and upper, and with more and more elements, more and more functionalities, more and more features. Now let's know about the HTML5 structural elements. Okay. There are a group of HTML elements that are created to broadly give our document more structure. You have already used the first section element, that is the body. You are all fond of the body. Okay. So what is a structural element? First, let me clear that. Structural element is nothing but related to a layout. Okay. Layout, giving a structure or some positions to your content in the website or in the web page to make it more in a structural way, so that it will look in a neat and a very pleasant way, right? So let's go with first one, that is your body. The body element contains all of the content of our document, right? This typically encompasses everything except the meta element and its sub elements. Okay. Why is it eliminating the meta? Because I have already told you the elements or the content in the air is invisible. Okay. Now the next one is the name. What's main? Most web pages contain a lot of information that is separated across the site. This includes branding, navigation, advertisements, and copyright information also. The main element is used to designate the unique content of each page. In the actually, it's just saying that this content is main. Okay. That's a part of it. So every content will be in a equal way, as I have already told you in EM, that is EM and the I tag, right? So just the meaning is different. In EM it will say that this content is very important, but it will be, when the output will be in a italic form only, and when it comes to italic, it will tell that this content is in italic. That's all, right? Only there is a difference in the meaning. In the same way is here also. When we use a main tag, that says that the content in this tag is really important. Okay. So the next sectioning content is the article and the section. Okay. I have showed you an example of the section and article, right? Article, what is article? Representing your content or information in an article way is article tag. Okay, so the article and section elements are both used similarly to represent the thematic parts of the document. The primary difference between the two is that articles are meant to encapsulate content that is self-contained. When deciding between an article or section, consider whether the content would still make sense if taken out of its current page. This indicates article. Okay. A section, on the other hand, is only a part of a greater whole and does not stand on its own. Okay. The difference is just this: article stand on its own, while the section does not stand on its own. Okay, it's a part of a web page. Okay, I showed you an example prior. In that section, inside a section, we have a nav and an article tag, right? So that's what a section is, a part of a web page, or whereas the article is representing the article information in article way, and it stands for alone. It's an independent content. Okay. Next one, that is the aside tag. Okay, what is aside? The aside element represent content that is tangentially related to the parent element. This element is named after a sidebar. However, doesn't consider it only as a sidebar, since that implies the content will appear on the side. And a side would show in a variety of context and visual treatments. Some examples of valid aside would be pull quotes, background information, supplementary links, call outs, advertisements, something like that. Okay, so these are aside. You would have seen this in many web pages. In your left side or in your right side corner or up or down, you will see some articles which are like quotes, which are like background information or advertisement which keeps on running. So that are used in the that would be represented with the help of an aside. The next one is the nav tag. I have already told you that's the navigation bar, that's a menu bar. Okay, the nav element is used to indicate areas of the page used for primary navigation. There can be multiple nav elements on a page. However, this element should be reserved for primary navigational area rather than simple list of link. Okay, primary, this is used for primary navigation area and not for simple list and links. Okay, and the next one is the header and footer. Now, what's the header and footer? The header and footer elements are both used within the context of their containing element. Okay, the most common form is when the containing element is the body element. Okay, so when you are using a body element and an header and a footer, I have already told you header something occupies the full width available, as well as the footer is also something which occupies the full width available. Header gives the name, let's take it as a naming, or gives a name for a web page or naming for some context, whereas in footer will give some information like copyright, the author name, or the follow links, or some small minute informations like address, telephone number, something like that will be in the footer part. Okay,